NYPA. It's time to start the show, so search for the squad and listen out for the promo with the West Wild Spitter Spinners webbing to a chokehold. Make it unfold, 5 o'clock. Who gives a damn of what your man to say? We spittin' live wireless, leave them shot with the gamma ray. Ain't no runner-up, cause it ain't the closest to candidate. I blocks it deep and you draw like Japanese anime. It's just us and the rest, news off the hottest press. Kyle Holton, Philly West, reppin' with the legends, classic interview session, politics, sports segment, live phone, call up a question, it's the NYPA, 95 connection, real people, ain't no scripted cue card for directions, just team on their grind time till it's all perfection, throw it past the satellite so you can catch reception, so touch ground with us, we kill challenges, and murder it for every number on your calendars, from west to the boogie down the Greyhound in this, we Google Spot, Anchor Podcast, pocket this.
Welcome everyone to another episode of NYPA Entertainment Radio. It's your boy KG. Thank you for joining me for this week's episode. As we are going to back up early September as we start slowly into the fall months coming up and getting deeper into September. The temperatures are gradually coming down and we're ready to hunker in for hopefully not too much of a bad fall-winter season. Time is just flying by. And I think of that because later on this month for this show will be his 15th season. And like I said, I'm ending the show at the end of December. This is it. This iteration of the show is coming to end at the end of 25, and of course in 2026, you have who is Kyle Graham here on Riverside, trying to adjust myself to the camera, coming to on Riverside. I'm still not comfortable with the camera angles. Coming to Riverside in 2026, so it's interesting. It hasn't really have yet settled in, like it haven't really sunk in on me shutting everything down. But it's something like I made a decision a while back, something I have to do. And I wanted to end the show, like I said, on my terms and the way I wanted to do it. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's time to just close this book, start a new book, new name, and start real fresh in the whole nine. And it hasn't been easy because it kind of like I'm really starting over again, but it's something that I think has to be done, and it's been fun. It's been a hell of a ride with doing this show, and like I said, just shutting it down come December and starting fresh in 2026 with who's Kyle Graham. But until then, press the subscribe button when you're watching on YouTube, or listening or watching on Spotify. More platforms to come definitely when I transfer over to the new podcast in 2026. Otherwise than that, thank you for taking the time out and joining me today for this episode and getting into some entertainment news. Give you my opinion and what's going on as I adjust the camera one more time. Sorry about that. All right, let's get started. That's some interesting stuff. Sorry. I'm not against still used to be on camera. Normally I wouldn't see me, so I'd be filling with stuff. Y'all don't even know what I'm doing, but I was trying to adjust everything here with the mouse and my screen and everything. All right, let's see. I have something interesting right here. Start. It's a weird thing, and it should not be happening. Mike Tyson agrees to fight Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition match after the Jake Paul loss. Anyway, Mike Tyson will return to the ring next year for an exhibition match with fellow boxing legend Floyd Mayweather. The event will happen sometime next spring, according to ESPN and BBC, and is being put on the SCI Sports Fight Sports / Fight Sports. Section 59 will hope to get back in the win column after losing to Jake Paul in November of 2024. Further details about where and when the fight will take place were not yet available. In a release to the outlets, Mayweather 48 said, I've been doing this for 30 years, and there hasn't been a single fighter that can tarnish my legacy. You already know that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it big, and it's going to be legendary. Mayweather added, I'm in the I'm I'm the best in the business of boxing. This exhibition will give the fans what they want. Tyson meanwhile said, the fight is something neither he would nor I ever thought would or could happen, in a statement to the BBC announcing the fight. However, boxing has entered a new era of the unpredictable, and this fight is as unpredictable as it gets. 1 month after he fought Paul, who's 28 last year, Tyson admitted during an interview that that he that he blanked he blanked out a little during the contest, which also saw the boxing legend bare butt exposed on Netflix camera. I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. He said, I remember coming back from the first round, and Jake is doing some kind of, I don't know what he was doing. Tyson continued mimicking Paul's bow in the ring, and that's the last thing I remember he shared. Tyson also admitted to questioning why he even put himself through the trouble of fighting Paul during the interview. The day after I wake up and said to my wife, why did I do that? I just don't know what the hell was going on. Tyson has been married to Lakita Spicer since '09. Okay. I said it then. I said it then when he did Jake Paul, and I'm definitely going to say it now. When he's going to fight Mayweather, I think it's a horrible idea. Let it go for both of them. It's just not a good look. It's not about tarnishing legacy. It just doesn't make any sense. He didn't look that good against Paul. I watched it. I remember watching it, and it was embarrassing. He, as much as a phenomenal shape he looked like he was in, it looked like he didn't want to be there. Um, I didn't pay for it on Netflix, but it appeared, it just didn't look right. It was sloppy and clunky. I'm sorry, y'all, for keeping moving the camera. It was sloppy and clunky, and it just didn't look right. It was just a waste of time, everybody's time, money, um, patience. It just wasn't good. As much as this is a dream match of having Tyson fight Mayweather, it's just they both passed their prime, and they couldn't do it, years earlier because number one, different weight classes, and of course, age and all that stuff. Would I watch it? If I don't have to pay for it, I'll watch it. I'm not hyped about it. Uh, it just it, it's becoming a farce when it comes to boxing now. You know what I mean? It's like it's nothing to prove. Um, you know, you did your thing in the ring, and at the time, meaning Tyson. Same thing with Mayweather, and just keep it moving. It's nothing else to prove. You don't need to go back in the ring. You really don't have to for no exhibition. It just doesn't. It doesn't sit well. It doesn't look right. It doesn't age well. Um, and after the whole, like I said, Jake Paul situation, it was just, I thought he wasn't going to do it again, and maybe he may change his mind as you get closer to spring of 2026. But I don't think it's a good idea. I really don't think so. And I know you guys who follow sports or may not follow sports who are familiar, either still familiar with Mike Tyson and familiar with Floyd Mayweather, might think the same thing. One's 48, one's 59. And it was like, you don't have to do this. And I'm thinking, is it about money? I don't know them financially. I know Mayweather has the cash, money Mayweather. But sometimes it's not always about that. Sometimes it's athletes can't leave it behind. This is all they know, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is. It's hard to leave that behind. That energy, that testosterone, like everything, like all you know is that. And then when the time comes when you can't do it anymore, it affects them. What are you going to do for that? For that adrenaline, what is going to substitute for that? Football players, they might go into coaching, or they'll do commentary. Say they were basketball players, say they were maybe baseball players, and even hockey players. Boxing is maybe the only one where you kind of sort of can get back in there, not on a serious tip, but maybe do a couple of rounds here and there, and maybe he is on a serious tip because George Foreman did it late in his career. In his 40s, he got back in the ring and won the championship. So if that's all you know and that's what you miss, you're gonna get back in as individual sports, not a team sport. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea. What do you guys think? Get at me. Let me know. Just think it's a bad idea. I think it's a waste of everybody's time. But they'll hype it up to where, people will come out to see it live, or they will pay for it on cable, or whatever the case, on some streaming service. We'll see as we get closer to the spring of 2026. I just think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's a good look for neither one of them overall. I just really don't. All right, moving on. I got a lot, I got a lot, I got a lot, he says. I got a lot, he says. I'm making songs up that don't exist. I thought I had the one, but I don't, but I remembered it. So, in a recent interview on Jimmy Kimmel, Denzel Washington was on there to promote From Highest to Lowest. And Jimmy Kimmel brought up that there are at least, I think, 6 NBA players named Denzel. And it was like from 1987 on, once like Denzel hit, it was like Denzel. And they definitely were named after him, because there was before that, no one was named Denzel. It was Denzel. But Denzel revealed, when I said it on this show before, that's not the correct pronunciation. Is that it right? Pronunciation? Anyone? Yeah? Is that right? Okay. Of his name. His name is not pronounced Denzel. His name is actually Denzel. His father was Denzel Hayes Washington Sr., and he is Denzel Hayes Washington Jr. So he continues with the story. He said when his mother would say Denzel, they both would come at the same time. So his mother said, okay, to the father, you're Denzel and you're Denzel. And the name stuck. And here we are. But the actual pronunciation of his name is actually Denzel. So from time to time, I was talking about Denzel, and I said it. You guys probably thought I was weird. I'm like, but that's because I heard the story before recently that's the correct pronunciation of his name is Denzel Washington, not Denzel. It just stuck because his mom was like, just like, so when I call you, when I say Denzel, it's just for the son to come. When I say Denzel, it means for the father to come. Denzel Sr. Crazy, right? So all these years, who knew until recently that his name is actually Denzel, pronounced Denzel, not Denzel. Little factoid there. Denzel Washington. So going forward, I'm calling him Denzel. If his mama named Denzel, I'm gonna call him Denzel. That's what I'm calling him. If his mama named Denzel, I'm calling him Denzel. I'm gonna give him that respect. Let's see here. Fuji's rapper Praj Michelle sent. Come on, let me move this out the way. Fuji rapper Praz Michel's sentencing is delayed in criminal case after he undergoes emergency surgery for colon cancer. Fuji rapper Praz Michel recently underwent emergency surgery after experiencing a medical concern forcing him to miss a scheduled sentencing hearing. Michel, 52, was initially set to appear in court on Friday, August 29th, to discuss how much money he would need to forfeit after being found guilty in 2023 for conspiring to defraud the U.S. government, according to Billboard. However, his lawyer said in an August filing obtained by the outlet that the rapper would be unable to appear at the hearing as he had experienced a significant medical concern. Praz missed Friday's sentencing hearing while undergoing emergency surgery for colon cancer removal. The rapper's spokesperson, Erica Dumas, said in a statement, "We stand with him and his family and wish him a full recovery as he addresses this serious health matter." She added that Michelle was recovering right now until he is in the clear and focused on spending time with his family ahead of sentencing, and that he remains hopeful of his future. Michelle found stardom as a member of the Fugees, who are regarded as one of the most influential hip hop groups of the 1990s. Their final album, The Score, released in '96, was certified 7 times platinum sales by RIAA. However, he hit some legal trouble after being convicted of attempting to influence President Donald Trump's administration officials to drop an investigation into a Malaysian businessman, Jeho Lo, I'm not making that up, an international fugitive accused of embezzling money for Malaysia's sovereign wealth fund, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ. He also was found guilty during his trial, which heard testimony from actor Leonardo DiCaprio and former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions of conspiring to make and conceal foreign and conduit campaign contributions during the 2012 U.S. presidential election. According to the DOJ, he faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for conspiring concealment of material facts, making false entries and records, witness tampering, and serving as an underregistered agent of the foreign power. However, Michel's attorney has requested that the rapper only receive 36 months of prison time, something they describe as just a sentence. This as just quote as just sentence in this case, a just sentence. In addition to serving time in prison, he is required to forfeit a sum of money to the federal government, a matter that was scheduled to be addressed at the sentencing hearing on Friday, according to Billboard. The federal government is seeking nearly $65 million from Michelle. Michelle's sentencing hearing date has been scheduled for October 3rd. Wow, this got to be a crazy time for him. Not only going through health issues, but you're about to be sentenced uh, to prison. Possibly they're seeking 20 years. Um, so I'm sure it's very stressful for him and his family. You dealing with one thing, he didn't deal with the next. But first thing first, deal with your health. Your health is very important, as I know that I've continually affected my health issues. It's important. What happens next, it happens. You did it. You did it. So you have to be punished. But the key thing is having your health, being around for your family, get through the sentencing, get through it, how many years they throw at you, and just come back as a better person. But you need your health first and foremost. And as you get older, and trust me, I know everyone having health issues, it range from one thing to the next. Health is a very, very key thing. It's precious. Trust me, I know. So we'll see what happens. He's rescheduled for October 3rd for sentencing. We'll find out at that time how many years he will be sentenced for his criminal act. Uh, my question, my question to him would be why? Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you do this to yourself? Why would you do this to your family and friends? Why? What was your end game in doing what you did? Allegedly, what was your end game? That's the question I'm asking. Like, why would you put your family and friends through that? Put yourself through that? What was your end game? What was your purpose? What was the reasoning? Like, what was it? And was it worth it? And that's something I think he needs to think about while he's recovering. What happens next, and was it worth it? Was it worth it? That's the question. Was it worth it? Moving on. She Will Smith and Westbrook set multi-picture deal at Paramount Pictures. Paramount Pictures continues to streak and high profile deals, sealing a first look multi picture deal with Will Smith and his company Westbrook. Following the closing of the Skydance merger last month, the new pact with Smith will focus on creating global four-quadrant theatrical movies with franchise starting and IP-based films. Uh, the terms and I get it out, y'all. The terms and I'll get it out. Encompass a first look deal with a development commitment to franchise starters positioned as starting vehicles for Smith, which include the thriller Sugar Bandits and Rabbit Hole. Westbrook will be based on the Paramount lot in Hollywood. Based on the book Devils in Exile by Chuck Hogan, Sugar Bandits, I kind of like that name, follows a former Special Forces soldier who runs an elite vigilante squad working to wipe out the drug trade in Boston. Sounds kind of interesting. Rabbit Hole will be penned by Dune writer John Spite. Plot details are unknown at the time. The deal marks another huge win for Paramount, which has been on a streak of I'm trying to get this. Sorry, which has been on a streak of luring big time talent under new boss David Ellison. Last month, the Duffer Brothers, who had strong relationship with Netflix, going back to the debut of Stranger Things, signed a 4-year deal with Paramount last month that stunned the industry. Smith and Westbrook previously had, and as I'm reading this, a pop-up comes over the screen. Thank you very much. Smith and Westbrook previously had their deal with Sony for decades. Paramount has been busy on the content front, recently acquiring rights to adapt feature film based on Activision video game series Call of Duty. It also made a big splash the day the Skydance deal closed, landing the coveted package High Side starring Timothy Chalamet with James Mangold directing. Smith and Westbrook are rep by CAA. Who says that Will Smith is blackballed and tarnished? Yeah, Paramount making huge deals with this cat and his company. So who says he's tarnished? Who say he's blackballed or box off and poisoned? People are still making deals. Look, what happened. You got to get past it. People make mistakes. Business is business, and at the end of the day, who is not allowed? A second chance, and he got a second chance, and signing this huge deal with Paramount with Westbrook is dope. That says a lot. That says that they still believe in him, and move past what happened, and they want to still do business, and believe they can make money with him and be successful. and that's dope. Uh, because at the end of the day, no need for looking back is already done. To quote Nas, you know what I'm saying. So that's a good look for him. He's not totally blackballed. Like I said, you got one of the biggest companies in the world who signed a big deal with him and his production company. That says a lot. That really says a lot about him as an individual and him as a businessman and his team around him. And that's what's up, man. So um, got content coming out with Sugar Bandits, and Rabbit Hole, and I'm sure more to come. So it's a good look for Will Smith after what happened. And again, it says a lot about the person. Like I said, he's not the first person in Hollywood history who has made huge mistakes and pretty much uh, got a second look or a second chance in the industry and do a business and so forth. It's already done. Look past it. Uh, he's, I mean, with the last Bad Boy films, made a lot of money, so he still has that drawl, and so we'll see going forward. But that's a good look for him. Good for him and Westbrook Production Company. Moving on, I got a few here. Let me I do that. Dame Dash files for bankruptcy. He claims he has 20. He claims he's 25 million in debt. Excuse me, and has $4,350 to his name. Dame Dash has filed for bankruptcy, alleging in court documents that he's more than 25 million in debt and has just over $4,000 to his name. The music executive and entrepreneur who's 54, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in Florida on Thursday, September 4th, listing his total liabilities as 25.3 million, according to the court documents. Dash, who co-founded Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z and Cream Biggs in '94, listed his monthly income as zero and said he does not own a house, car, or any electronics, save for his $500 cell phone. He said that his personal assets, including his phone, 2 guns, clothes, and $100 in cash, are worth $4,350. The document says Dash domestic support obligations are more than $645,000, and he owes the government $19.1 million in taxes and other debts. Dash owes hundreds of thousands to his ex-wife Rachel Roy, with which he shares daughters Ava 25 and Tallulah 17, as well as Cindy Morales, the mother of his son Lucky, who's 21, Linda Williams, mom to his son Boogie, who's 33. Get around. Dash said he is owed a possible but unknown amount from Burke, with whom he co-founded Rockefeller with. The day after he filed for bankruptcy, Dash posted a screenshot of a news headline about his filing to Instagram. Now he's like, quote, "Now let's go to work," and hashtag stay tuned. He captioned the post. Uh, on the day he filed, he shared a video to Instagram talking about his health struggles while spending time with his 4-year-old son, Dusko, whom he shares with his financiers, Raquel Horn. Sorry. Quote, I just want to thank everyone that checked in on me. He said, noting he recently underwent surgery in his eye and teeth surgery. I seen the picture of that. Dash previously opened up about his money struggles on Instagram video shared August 2024, in which he said he was curious to see how it all rolls out. Continue. Somebody asked me how I got so broke. Invested in my dreams. When you're invested in your dreams and you dream big, you're always gonna be broke. In November 2024, the New York State government purchased Dash 1/3 share Rockefeller at auction for $1 million. in an attempt to recoup nearly $9 million he owes in back taxes. New York Post reported the outlet New York Post reported, the outlet reported that Dash has previously listed the 27th most tax delinquent in New York. The outlet reported that Dash was previously listed as the 27th most tax delinquent New York resident. Damn. Hmm. Well, now I don't. Yeah, I've seen him recently do an interview, and then yeah, he looks bad. He like had a patch over his eye, and he doing knee surgery for his tooth, and um the statement he made, when you dream big, you're always going to be broke. I don't believe that. I think he just made some bad investments, in my opinion. Number one, number two, didn't properly really pay off what he's supposed to pay off, whether it's child support, whether it's taxes. I don't think he did that properly, and I think it's catching up with him. I think he avoided a lot of stuff. That's my opinion. I don't know. He knows better than I do. That's not my life. I'm just giving my opinion. Because someone will say, well, look at his counterparts, Cream Biggs, Jay-Z, and they're doing successful. Cream Biggs is quiet. He's up in the cut. You don't hear nothing. He's always been the quiet one between the three. And we all know what Jay-Z's doing. So a lot of questions like, well, what happened with you? And it's easy. And the kicking man when he's down, and he's been known throughout the industry at the time Rockefeller was real hot as being the asshole out of the three. Sometimes you may need an asshole on your team to get stuff done. Well, at the end of the day, there's consequences with becoming the asshole of the crew. When things go awry, people don't want to deal with that asshole. And people always remember how you treated them being that asshole. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you can be a little too much of an asshole. See, there's levels of assholeness. See, there's that assholeness level where it's like he's an asshole, but he's a likable asshole. Then there's an asshole where he's an asshole, but he's a pain in the ass. I can't stand that asshole. See, there's a difference there. And everybody, we all know that asshole. All of us are assholes in our own way. We just different level assholes. See, I'm an asshole, right? But I'm an asshole. I'm likable scamp of an asshole. I'm not like an evil, nasty, pain in the ass asshole. You know, I'm just saying. I think kind of what maybe Dash was that way. The evil, not evil, but the mean spirited type asshole that when when he's down, no one's going to help him, and it looks that way. And I think it's a mixture of bad investments and the whole nine. I think that's what it was. Sorry, I keep adjusting the camera. You would say, well, again, it's easy to kick him when he's down, and you say, well, Jay's here, you're here. Sometimes people can manage money. Sometimes people can manage money better than others. And I think again, it might have just been bad management of money, bad investments. It could be a plethora of things overall. And again, like I said, maybe he wasn't paying what he's supposed to pay tax wise and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. But first things first, like anything else, you got to get healthy. You got to work on your health first, and then one thing I can't say about Dame Dash, he's a hustler. He's smart. He's intelligent. He'll bounce back. Let's get through. He's fighting through some health issues. Get past that. He'll bounce back. Do what you got to do, and pay off what you got to pay off. And again, a guy like that who's very determined, who's a hustler, he'll bounce back in some shape or form. You have your ups and downs, and right now he's on a down. You dig what I'm saying? And he's not. He's fighting through health issues and financial stuff. The key thing is dealing with your health issues. Get through his health issues and then go from there. But I think he'll bounce back. He seemed like the type of cat that's like, I got something to prove. I'm going to prove it to you that although I lost it, I'll get it back and beyond. And we'll see. I think he can. I think he's that type of cat. I think he's learned from his experience. I think he's a very smart businessman. I think he'll take care of it. And I think he'll figure it out. Only time will tell. But yeah, he has to deal with your health first. Like bounce back from your health. That's more important more than anything. Health is key. Trust me as I live through it myself. Let's see. All right. Got a few here. All right. Cardi B accepts 2025 Billboard Impact of the Year award. Quote, I want to be a legacy. Cardi B was honored alongside Wu-Tang Clan, Leon Thomas, and Top Dog at the Billboard R&B and Hip Hop Power. Come on, man. People like things blocking up. Hip Hop R&B Power Player event in Brooklyn on Thursday. This past Thursday, September 4th. All right. Man, she looked good. This past Thursday, Cardi B accepted the 2025 Billboard Impact of the Year award at the R&B / Hip Hop Power Players event in Brooklyn, presented by Senior Director R&B / Hip Hop Carl Lamar, as Lamarre, Mike. Cardi delivered a rousing speech highlighting her love for hip hop and building a long-lasting legacy. Well, hip hop is a feeling. When I was growing up, I didn't want to be the Shakiras, the J Lo's, and the R&B artists. I wanted to be like Trina and Little Kim. I wanted to be like them. Cardi affinity for the culture continued when she spoke on wanting to fulfill her passions for hip hop as a child growing up, who was once fearful that she would shatter her dreams, living situation. I'm just so happy that I'm a part of something that I love. I always dreamed about this career. I just felt like with the environment that I was in, dreaming was dreaming. Reality crushes your dreams. So I'm happy that my career is the career that I always dreamed of. She added, I want to be spoken forever. We talked about we talk about all these hip hop artists who came out 20 years ago and 30 years ago. I want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a moment. I want to be a legacy so I can die in peace one day and my kids can be like, that's my mama. That's my mama. Oh, never mind. Cardi B was one of the handful of artists honored at 2025 Billboard R&B Hip Hop Power Players event. Wu-Tang Clan, a legendary hip hop group, was inducted into Billboard's Hip Hop Hall of Fame, while Leon Thomas, a rising star, earned Breakthrough Artist of the Year. J-Lo, G-Lo, Gelo, Odile, and Raven Lene, promising newcomers, were each named Rookie of the Year for the hip hop, African music, and R&B, respectively. Well, look, that's dope. Like I said last week, I'm not a huge fan of Carly B's work. I'm not knocking her talent because she's been around for a while, has staying power, and a lot of people love her, and she made money. And her album has been platinum, and she got a second one coming out. She definitely has a following. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not knocking it. She just not my cup of tea. I'm just not a big fan. I think it's not my era. I'm in the era of the Trinas, the Little Kims, the Latifahs, the Eves, the Salt and Pepper, Roxanne Shante. I said this over and over again. Not knocking her, like I said, she's very talented, and I give her props. I give her balloons. She definitely, I think she will have staying power when you name the list of female MCs down the line. Her name will be on the list, whether you want her on the list or not. Where she will be ranked, that's all opinion. That's all opinion. What and my list, she wouldn't be, no disrespect, she wouldn't be in the top 10. maybe the top 20, but I'm not a fan of her music. I'm not. Again, not taking nothing away from her. I'm not saying she's not a good rapper. That's just not my cup of tea. It just that's not my era. That's just not me. That's something I'm not into. But kudos to her on that. I think she will go down as a legend, as one of the greatest, female MCs. Just not for me. Like I said, I have like at least 10 ahead of her. Period. But that's again, it's my opinion, and it's the era. I think the era that I love, and I said this before, of the late '80s through the '90s, early 2000s, is I got I got people ahead of her. If I give me a longer list, she may be in my top 20, possibly, depending on what I see on the list. Then it might move down. Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Anyway, moving on. um, here we go. Master P hit up Lil Wayne to perform at University of New Orleans. Master P may not be the only legendary Louisiana in the house when the University of New Orleans tips off a hoops season in 2 months, because the hip hop mogul tells us he's reached out to Lil Wayne and he wants Weezy to perform. Miller, now Coach P, did a recent interview where he chopped it up with Babcock, some guy named Babcock, I don't know what the fuck that guy is, opening up on his new gig at University of New Orleans, president of basketball operations and assistant coach, as Percy attempts to complete overhaul of the struggling program. Quote, I'm bringing some huge talent, but I reached out to Lil Wayne management team, so we're going to see how that goes. Piece of adding, but if it doesn't work out for the first game, which is November 8th, then we've got 11 more home games, which we can bring him in. But that's not all Percy has planned in the entertainment department. I'm going to hit up J. Cole. There's so much talent out here. You got NBA Youngboy. You got Boozy. We got a lot of locals from New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Louisiana that we can hit up first. As pumped up as Miller is for the in-game entertainment, and for as much as it'll boost recruitment, which young player wouldn't want to rub shoulders with Wayne and Cole? The mission is bigger for Coach P. Quote, my coach saved my life, helped change my life, and I said I wanted to pay that back for and help the next generation, help the kids where I at grew up at to find the next P, find the next P, find the next other successful person that comes from poverty, to let them know that you can make it. We believe in you. P added, it's about education, the next generation. I feel like if I could start coaching middle school students, preparing them to go to college, then they'll further their education and crime will go down, poverty will go down, and we'll be able to create these diamonds in the rough. They always say a diamond is dirty till you clean it up. In fact, speaking of young students, Miller says he's planning to personally pay for 4,000 middle schoolers to attend a game at University of New Orleans this season. That's dope. I love to hear stuff like that and see stuff like that. When you have people just get back to the neighborhood and want to do better, and this is what he wants to do. He's coaching and he wants to change University of New Orleans program around and bring people in, and who's better to bring local talent in than Master P? One of the, if not the first cats that come out of New Orleans, you know, with the whole thing with his brother, the Mia X, and all that stuff, make you say, oh, no limit soldiers. That's dope. And I wish him a lot of luck. I will be definitely keeping my eye out for University of New Orleans this year, basketball wise. And I think he could do it. And it's a great thing, man. I hope they get Wayne and NBA Youngboy and show that you can be successful, getting that college education and the college experience, and having them see that you can. You don't have to. The same thing like Cardi B said. You know, you come from nothing and become something, and it's not easy. I'm still fighting for my dream. Dreams don't happen overnight. I still have dreams. Dreams don't stop. As tough as it is, and I just had this conversation with my best friend Mike. I was like, man, I'm getting older, and I was, and I'll share this with you guys because we close. And he was like, man, you still around. Like the dream ain't in yet. And my man Kamal, I mean, I mean who I meant to call. My man Kamal Johnson, he said it best years back. He said, I'm allowed the dream is still alive. And it makes sense. So to have this opportunity to open this door for these kids to come to college and be helpful and take them to the next level and out of poverty, that's dope, man. You can't be mad at that. And he's giving back to the community, and I hope it works out. I think it will work out. And to see Wayne and NBA YoungBoy and all these cats come and perform and take the tour of the campus, and and if not that college, go to another college. And it's not always about the education; it's about the college experience and meeting people from all around the world, different cultures and races and creeds, and him and her, parties, and just fun, man. I made lifetime friends from going to college, and I try to pass it on to my kid. And just like not just about the education, but it's just the experience and the fun. You have the fun stories and adventures and stuff like that. So hopefully it works out. I think he will. He seems determined, and I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for his basketball program and see him have it turn around and make him competitive for NCAA tournaments. If not this coming season, then the follow season and so forth, and get recruitment to go up, not just for basketball, for scholarship wise and so forth. They make it one of the most prominent schools in the country, where it's like, yeah, Oklahoma University of New Orleans, or as they call it, UNO. Um, you never know. Like I said, hopefully I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. That's a very good story of something very positive to that's out there. We need more. We need more stories like that. You know. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Jack White selling catalog stake to Sony Music. A source familiar to the matter tells the Hollywood Reporter. Wait a minute. Let me move this out the way. That the deal encompasses an unspecified stake in recordings from the White Stripes' White solo career with his bands and the bands Reconteurs and the Dead Weather. Jack White is selling stake in his catalog to Sony Music. A source familiar with the matter confirms. While White is selling only a portion of the catalog, the source says, though it's not clear how much he has sold. Also unknown is how much Sony is paying for its stake, per the source who requested and well, I'll get it out, y'all. I'm stuttering. Anonymity, as they were authorized to speak publicly on this acquisition. The deal closed earlier this summer. It encompasses rights for White's recording across his career, from the works with the White Stripes to the solo career, as I said, as recordings with the band Reconteurs and the Dead Weathers. White and Sony have done business together in the past. Sony flagship record label Columbus has signed White for a solo record deal back in 2012 in partnership with White's Third Band Records after White Stripes have disbanded. Um, White has long been a trendsetter in music business, and with the White Stripes, he was one of the early artists to take control of the recording catalog, housing his catalogs through Third Man Records. A source familiar with the matter, without confirming any details, says that White maintains control of his recordings. The deal doesn't encompass any future recordings from White. Okay, I like hearing stuff like this, and it goes on and on because it's a little long. But what's interesting, I always bring this up when an artist who may sell all their catalog, in this case, some of their catalogs, to a bigger company. Um, I don't know. My question, I always ask because I don't know: is it for money? Do they need the money? And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We will never know. But I always wonder, why would you sell your music rights, whether it's partial or not? I always wonder why. Because I think, and I stand by this, is that I think you will make more money if you owned it yourself. At the end of the day, that's just my opinion. I really think that you would, if you owned it yourself, you would make more money because whoever you sell, whether it's partial or full blown, whoever you selling it to, they're going to make 3 or 4 times than what they offer you. And also, although the details are very vague and kind of cloak the anonymity, I still stand by and wonder why. What is the purpose of selling a catalog? Because if I have a catalog of music, and it's successful, obviously, I'm not selling it. I'll leave it within the family and will hope that my kid wouldn't sell it off. And it's like rent it out. Like I said, I think you really make a lot of money if you rent it out. Um, Movies, TV shows, commercials, or whatever the case may be. Like keep it in for generations to come. I would never do it, even if I'm on hard times. I would press the issue like, yo, let's rent this out. Let's rent this joint out and see what we can get. Let's put it in movies. Whoever wants to sample it, let's make some cash. I wouldn't. All that hard work you put into creating this art and to just sell it to someone, in my opinion, who's going to make 3 to 4 times more. I don't know, man. I'm sure he has his reasons. You know, what I mean, I'm sure he has his reasons, but I don't know. I really don't know. I would love to talk to artists that have done that, just to get their opinions on why. I mean, if it's a money thing, it's a money thing. I get it. Times are hard, friends are few, life be lifing. If it's not that, then why? What's the reason behind that? What's the purpose behind that? And I mean, the obvious thing is money, but like I said, I don't know them, but I would love to ask artists like this who, whether they sell partial or all of it, what's the purpose? Why are you doing it? Um, and what's your end game when it comes to it? You know what I mean? So that's one of the questions I would definitely ask Jack White or anyone else who sell a catalog, either partially or all the way. I'm just curious. I'm definitely curious. Let's see. One more, final one, then I'll let you go. Young Thug claims he purchased $50,000 worth of streams for Gunna's DS Forever album. Gunna's DS Forever album edged out Abel's Dawn FM by 2,300 units to take the top spot of Billboard's 200 back in January 2022. Alleged phone calls made from jail by Young Thug have been leaked to recent days as YSL Honcho faces snitching allegations stemming from a 2015 conversation with authorities surrounding a Lil Wayne tour bus shooting. Uh, Thugger continues to distance himself from Gunna, who was released nearly 2 years before Thug after reaching a Alford plea deal in the YSL RICO case in December 2022, as Thug believes his mentee snitched on him. One recent alleged jail phone call involving Thug claiming found him claiming that he paid $50,000 for streaming to help Gunna's DS Forever album debut at #1 on the Billboard 200 over the weekend's Dawn FM in 2022. Quote like quote like the number one album you just had right now. I paid for you to have the number one album. He said, you didn't honestly earn the number one album over the weekend, my boy. I paid for that shit. I never said anything to him. I never told him that. He continued, we just got the plug on that. You never earned a number one album. I spent 50 extra grand buying motherfucking streams for you. Gunna earned his second album, number one album, stopped the Billboard atop the Billboard 200 in January 2022, and a tight race against the weekend. DS Forever launched with 150,300 equivalent album units earned in the U.S. in the week ending January 13th, uh, according to Luminate. The album's first week sales figure was nearly entirely comprised of streaming. SEA units comprised of 144,600, equaling 193.5 million on demand official streams, while album sales held at 4,700 and TEA units comprised of 1,000. It was also it was also the most streamed album the week that Gunna added a Drake collaboration titled P Power to the project's track listed on the final tracking. DS Forever was on sale for $7.99 on iTunes stores and could be purchased digitally on his website for $4. As for the weekend, Dawn FM bowed at number 2 on Billboard 200 with 148 equivalent album unit earned in the U.S. in the week ending January 13th, according to Illuminate. Of the total SEA units made up 131,300 equivalent to 173 million on demand official streams of the album song, while album while album sales bested Gunna's total at 14,800, TEA units comprised of 19,000. Billboard has reached out to Illuminate for comment. Here's the text. Here's the text we include in our weekly story announcing the top of the Billboard 200 explains Illuminate review process. Illuminate, the independent data provider to the Billboard charts, completes a thorough review of all data submission used in compiling the weekly chart rankings. Illuminate reviews and authenticates data in partnership with Billboard. Data deemed suspicious or unverifiable is removed using established criteria before final chart calculations are made and published. Ooh, sugar snaps. So, if I'm correct, and I'm reading this correctly, my man said he bought the streams, huh? It was fake. They weren't real. He dropped 50 bands on it. That's some shit. That's crazy, boy. People are snitching back and forth, man. People point, man. Oh my gosh, when it, god damn, when the ship is sinking, the rats start talking and jumping and finger pointing. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's what happens. Whatever's in the dark comes to the light. When people are got their backs against the wall, and things are going, they're like, yeah, oh yeah, how about this? And I'm gonna tell you about this, and I'm gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna tell you about this. That wasn't you, and it happens. People start snitching. It's what it is. That's it's crazy. That he said he got him on. He admits that he paid for the streams, about 50 G's to make Gunna shit. Wow, that's again, you never know what's going on behind the scenes in the industry. Whether it's music, television, films, you never know. There's always someone, as they say, is you kind of greasing the wheels. You know what I mean? You never know. You never know. People be cooking the books. The books be cooking. You smell like chicken. All that grease. Or duck, if you got money. But yeah, man, it's Stranger Things, man. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised what's going on behind the scenes. That's crazy. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of NYPA Entertainment Radio, the final season. I'm back up, Lord willing, next weekend with a brand new episode. And like I said, I'm closing it out at the end of 2025, and 2026 is Who's Kyle Graham. Same look, make some changes. I had a list of guests I wanted to be on this show, but I figured I'm shutting it down. I'd rather promote the new show than this one as I'm about to close out the show for good. Final season overall, I'm gonna hit the 15-year mark on the 26th of this month, but this is it. By December, I'm done. Right before the holidays, it's gonna be shut down for good. And then in 2026, I'm back with Who is Kyle Graham. But like I said, until then, press the subscribe button, whether it's top here, for new content from NYP Entertainment Radio. Go to Spotify.com. You get the audio and video version of this show. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a lot of surprises coming towards you. If not with NYPA, then Who is Kyle Graham? Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the love. I appreciate it. Keep it coming. Spread the words. A lot of good things are coming. Everything what you see is not what it's going to be. Some tricks up my sleeves and those short sleeves coming to you soon. Thank you so much. Be safe. Continue to believe in a high power you believe in. Whatever you're going through, take it day by day. Trust me, I know it's easier said than done, but just do that. Hang in there. It'll all work out, baby. Take it step by step. Take it day by day. So that is it. I'll see you, Lord willing, next week for another episode of NYPA Entertainment Radio. The show is over.